At least 3 armored vehicles have been destroyed in an ambush that has left experts baffled by Kremlin's inept tactics. A Russian armored column trying to get into Kyiv was pushed back in a devastating strike from Ukrainian forces on Thursday morning. Video posted on Twitter of footage seemingly shot from a drone shows the line of around 30 tanks and armored vehicles, including a TOS-1 thermobaric missile launcher. At least 3 vehicles were destroyed in what has been assessed as an artillery strike by Ukraine, with the others turning around to get out of the contact zone. The incident took place in Brovary, a district a few miles to the east of Kyiv. The line of tanks and armored vehicles is mostly stationary on a wide road with houses either side. Thick black smoke rolls across the road as a tank is hit by Ukrainian artillery fire. Russian soldiers run from buildings, desperate to climb back into the relative safety of the vehicles. Another shell scores a direct hit and the vehicle, possibly weighing around 20 tons, is flung around on its axle. Thick brown smoke, possibly from another round landing, envelopes the TOS-1 thermobaric missile launcher, but somehow it escapes the maelstrom. Defense watchers criticized the Russian column for displaying poor tactics. The entire group of vehicles is caught on a main road, possibly as commanders have decided cross-country movement is too risky, and clustered in an area about 150 meters long. The road is easily within range of Ukrainian artillery batteries positioned around the city. With images being relayed in real time, the column was extremely vulnerable. According to the audio accompanying the film, the regimental commander of the tank unit was killed. Shrapnel, unseen on the video but undoubtedly present, will have been flying through the air. These splintered chunks of metal from the artillery rounds would travel hundreds of meters given they were landing on the paved surface of the road. The fear could be heard in the voice on the radio, despite the poor connection. "Commander, the commander's dead," it said. The second voice either could not hear properly or did not believe the news that the commander of Russia's 6th Tank Regiment, reported to be Colonel Andrei Zakharov, a man personally decorated by Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, had been killed. The second voice asked for the message to be repeated. "He's dead." A shout this time, "The commander's dead." The footage, filmed by a drone and released online by the Ukrainian military's official channels, showed around 30 Russian tanks and armored vehicles caught by Ukrainian artillery fire as they tried to push into Kyiv from the east. The armored column had reached the district of Brovary, about 10 kilometers from Kyiv, when it was forced to retreat on Thursday morning, pushed back in a devastating strike from Ukrainian forces. The drone footage showed the line of around 30 tanks and armored vehicles, including a TOS-1 thermobaric missile launcher, in disarray as artillery shells exploded around them. At least 2 vehicles were destroyed, with the others turning around to flee. The tarmac on the dual carriageway was left blackened by scorch marks and tracks showing the U-turns many of the vehicles had to perform as the high explosive shells rained down. Thick smoke hung over the houses lining the road which, by some miracle, had escaped relatively unscathed from the attack. The once mighty Russian army seems to have stumbled and is now held up by mud, a lack of fuel and poor planning. One former British tank commander told The Telegraph, "This is not the Russian army we trained to fight." Much has been said of the boggy conditions off-road, which may explain why the armored column preferred to proceed on the sturdy roadway. However, being so channeled was a grave mistake and the Russians were lucky Ukrainian forces either could not coordinate further strikes or did not have enough artillery batteries within range. Such an inviting target should have been easy to deal with if the drone operator watching the advance could have spoken directly to artillery units within range.